Well, this is gonna. Oh, you pressed the live button. Hello. Oh, I was gonna be like, "What's P? What do you mean PP?" And then I'm like, "They're the two people you're talking about." A little bit of tea in Danish. I think Purple stepped away for a couple minutes. Hello, demonic Davros. I think he's gone AFK for a minute. Oh well, happy birthday! What do Viking maidens do on their birthday? I don't get the joke. Hey, Purple, are you muted or something?
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize my mic was muted.
Like you were really quiet for a very long time there.
No, I was commenting on things in the live stream in the side chat and that, and I guess nobody heard any of that.
Nope.
Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, I was kind of commenting on some of the stuff in the side chat and just some aimless rambling. I don't really have much to say tonight, but I was correcting Doorknob had that Legos. First of all, it only has one G, and you never need to put the S on it because Lego was both singular and plural.
I still don't understand the joke.
Uh, Bidity in Danish said it was her birthday today.
Uh huh.
So that's all. I think he was just asking her what she was doing on her birthday.
Well, no, he says, "What do Viking maidens do on their birthday?" And they said, "Legos." Okay, inside joke. That makes sense. I guess.
Yeah. I've actually been sorting through and selling off parts of my collection.
Oh, Lego collection.
Yeah, just because it's the only way I'm going to get any money around here.
Hmm.
So, I say it's the whole town's too broke to even hire me, so I can't make any money living here. Yeah.
Mm.
And I found out that, well, we got somebody joining us here. Hello.
Hey, how are y'all?
Doing okay. Who's
Doing
this?
okay. What's up?
None. You just left the message on Neil's usual suspects. If anybody wanted to join in, I figured, well, I'm not busy. I'll join in.
Yep, that's fine.
I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed to you or even following you on Twitter, so I had to correct all that. Holy cow!
Oh, I know how that happens with Twitter sometimes. Though there's people that I was sure I had been following, and
Well,
they put
yeah,
something up, and I realized that somehow we're not connected.
yeah, and I'm like, because I see you everywhere, and I'm like, well, what the hell?
Purple is everywhere, in all places, at all times.
Yeah. So I was in the chat, and I'm like, I heard Purple say that you didn't have a whole lot to say, so I figured I'd spark conversation. How's that?
Yep. You
That
bring a
would be.
topic with you?
Hello, Math
Yeah.
Pig.
Hi,
Oh, Math Pig.
pirate
I thought you'd gone already.
math pig.
Yeah, somebody in chat.
Math pig.
Yep.
Oh.
I didn't think he'd still be online. I actually almost forgot it was Thursday and was actually thinking I was going to lay down early, but
Was? Then what happened?
no, just realizing it was Thursday and people were expecting this.
Oh. All right.
But
Well,
yeah, most of our usual people are not here tonight. I don't know where everybody is.
so who are the usuals?
Uh,
Well, Lavender Lady.
Lavender
Ah,
Lady,
Lavender's
Jen,
awesome.
Orla occasionally, Jen's Little Corner sometimes.
Yep.
Hmm.
Jen's Little
Uh,
Corner did send a note that she's at her niece's recital or something like that.
Doc Fearsome.
Yep.
All awesome people.
Yeah, and it's like I don't have a big following. It's a small but loyal bunch.
Well, that's what you kind of need nowadays. It's just a loyal bunch. It doesn't Your circle doesn't have to be really big, but I'm sure that eventually, you're gonna get bigger and bigger, and Neil was asking me like during my very first uh, interview with him. It's like, well, why don't you start your own channel? I'm like, I'm not as interesting as what you think I am. I don't think anybody would want to hear what I have to say, so I couldn't. And plus, I'm a truck driver, so all I have is my phone to communicate with. So I couldn't do all the fancy editing and all that stuff that everybody else does. So, but I've been thinking about making my own channel, but I just don't know what I would want to cover
Um,
because everybody. Go ahead.
actually, have you looked at Jen with one N's channel?
I don't think I have yet.
Yeah, everything she's got up, she did on her cell phone.
Hmm. Does she do all the video editing and stuff like that through the phone?
All the editing, and she does animated cartoon now.
Hmm.
So I've really been surprised how much she's been able to do with just apps on the cell phone.
I didn't know that was even possible with a cell phone, or I didn't know they had supporting apps for such a thing.
Yeah, I didn't either, but apparently, it's just apps that hook into different websites that, so it doesn't have to be running on the device. It's just running off of the web pages.
Huh. That's interesting. Um. What was I gonna say? Yeah. I was trying to come up because everybody has their own little niche on what they do for their channels. Um. Because if you look at Telltale, he deals with cults. Neil's obviously the um,
Interviewer.
deconversion interviewer.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's
Beelzebub.
nothing wrong with. Yeah, I was just gonna say there's nothing wrong with people doing the same thing because Bub does his apostate interviews, which is basically the same thing as Neil, but they each have their own take on it that makes it different.
hmm Yeah, I'm supposed to be on his channel. I think we have it scheduled for the 14th, I believe. But and I thought about if I was to do something. I think my channel, if I was to do something, would probably be based around like getting into Twitter arguments with theists because I got blocked today by this what the hell they're this one guy. His name is Dean, but his page is like Catholics against atheists and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I'm
Oh,
like, yeah, and I'm like, he changes his name like every other freaking week,
wait,
so it's something.
did you say Dean?
Yeah, some Dean.
So
I
what is
forgot
he?
what.
What is he like? Oh, crack! I can't. I recognize that name because there's a guy that's been getting into uh conversations and arguments with another friend of mine on Twitter, and I'm familiar with him being called Dean.
Yeah, he tries to like bait us atheists into conversations and try to piss us off
Hmm.
because he'll say things like atheism is an ideology or atheism is a religion, and you just can't get it through his head that it's none of that shit. And I'm like, eh, I it was really hard for me not to call him a moron or something like that because apparently he wasn't getting it,
Oh,
or he either that or he's just hard headed and he
Yeah.
just wanted to start a fight or something. So
what is
Well, if
his
you
name?
want to
eventually,
go for
Andrew
Twitter
something on
arguments,
Twitter.
it
Andrew State something or other.
no, he's buddies with that guy though. He's always
Mm.
calling him into conversations, but he never does. I think the people that he was doing stuff with on Twitter, I think they've kind of abandoned him because
Hmm.
he doesn't really represent what they're trying to do because he's trying to call out atheists based on like misunderstandings and falsehoods and stuff, and they
yeah,
don't
sounds like
seem.
a lot of straw manning.
Yeah, so and they have been interacting with him less and less, and yeah, this guy is just at first he'll be like, we need to love everybody, especially those silly atheists. And then he'll like the next couple posts will be something like, um, uh, all atheists are degenerates, and I'm like, wait a minute, how do you go from being nice to us to like calling us degenerates? You're a moron. Like I said, I felt like telling him he's a freaking moron, but I'm bigger than that, and I'm not
Leo
going to do
Biscaglia said, "Love your enemies." It makes him so damn angry.
that. What?
Love your
Love
enemies.
your
It
enemies. It makes him so damn angry.
Yeah.
Deconverted man.
Howdy.
Converted man here. How's it going?
It's going.
Hello.
Where's it,
We're just.
where,
Go ahead.
where is it going?
In the toilet.
Okay. Sounds good.
And we're talking about one particular theist that is trying to piss off all the atheists, and if you really get up in his face, he'll block you.
One of those.
Sounds
Yeah,
like an SJ wannabe.
Yeah. I was just gonna say it's
Well, yeah, except for
Oh.
this guy. This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, though.
Well, dude.
Is SJ.
Well, yeah, SJ doesn't either, but I mean,
Show me an apologist that knows what they're talking about. I mean, maybe they know what they're talking about, but the thing is, with apologetics, you have to be dishonest at some level, you know.
well, yeah, well,
Like
even
intellectually
Arnold-
You need to
dishonest.
look at your
the very
religion.
least. Yeah, and then I don't know. Yeah, there was the one guy on Twitter that somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I'm blocked by them," and I'm like, "Hey, I'm not blocked by you yet. Block me, you jerk." I want street cred.
That's funny. No, I got blocked by that. God, I can't think of what his actually. I think this week his name is Catholics Against the Atheist Cult.
Oh man, I didn't know we were part of a cult. When
I
did that
didn't
happen?
either. I had no idea, and apparently, something else I didn't know is that apparently atheism is some type of ideology, and and some type of religion. And I'm thinking, okay, and I've tried to tell this idiot that, okay, if atheism is a religion, then bald is a hair color. You know that whole
Right,
thing.
right.
Yeah.
There ain't none of us, even people in the chat, who haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
I still like using it though.
Yeah, I mean it's the 2Q sort of approach. It's like, well, you have a religion as well. You have a faith as well. It's like, really? Is religion good or bad? Is faith good or bad?
Nope, I had one that died.
We held the funeral for it. It was sad.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's like, how can you not realize that you're basically proving the point we're trying to make when you go and say, well, you have one too. It's like,
Yeah. Even if it was the case, that doesn't really. Like I said, it's a 2Q. It doesn't really matter. It's like, and what's, it's not true, but okay. And what's your argument? You know, it's like,
Well, I
you're
had most of the same arguments with them when I was pagan. So it's like, yeah, even when I had a religion, it really didn't make much difference. It didn't make theirs any more valid.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I mean, did you listen to the guy that was explaining that God is zero, right? So.
I heard about that. I couldn't really follow what he was saying.
I was there. And I don't know.
God is zero?
Well, obviously that was the point. You weren't supposed to follow it. You're supposed to just be like, oh, yes, you are so correct.
Yeah, that's what I did. I was just like, sure, yeah, God, whatever, okay. I was just asking
I was
questions.
in the side chat on that stream, and I couldn't figure out what this guy was trying to say.
Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. But that's the thing with beliefs is that, people can believe anything, and so you have to be aware of that. And I guess the atheist brain sort of works a little bit differently, maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
'Cause
we
well,
Well, I
actually
know my
use our
brain works
brains.
differently, but that's
yeah,
autism.
well, like broadly speaking, like, you know, at least the atheists I've encountered don't have beliefs in like the paranormal or supernatural or things like this. So
Yeah,
they're
most of them that I know aren't. They don't believe in any of that. So, but Aaron Ross says that he has run into atheists that actually believe it. Some that believe in Bigfoot and UFOs, and
I actually have a coworker that is, he's an atheist, but he's a conspiracy theorist.
ooh,
oh,
I love
Like,
geez.
those. Those are
like
fun.
he thinks that 9/11 was an inside job. He thinks that the government created AIDS in order to cull the black population. Um,
I haven't met any that buy into the conspiracies, but I do know a couple of atheists who, do believe in ghosts.
Hmm.
And
mean,
I've had some weird experiences myself that still make me kind of question that, but there's no
Yeah.
way to get any evidence one way or the other.
Right. Well, when I was a kid, there was a house that we lived in where my whole family was convinced that it was haunted, and I would be like, "Y'all are nuts," because I don't hear shit when I'm sleeping. I don't hear anything. So it must be in y'all's head. And they're like, "No, it's really haunted." I'm like, "No, you're really nuts."
well, my family used to have a ghost that they called George.
Sure.
Not really. It was whenever something would like just disappear and nobody could figure out what happened to it, they would be like, "Oh, it must have been the house ghost George who did it." It wasn't. It wasn't really serious.
The house.
that reminds me of that comic, Family Circle.
Family
Family
Circus.
Circle.
And they had the "It Wasn't Me" ghost or whatever.
Oh yeah,
that would be.
not me.
Not me or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But we had this thing when I was young. Everybody like got up at the same time. We all went to the hallway and were like looking around, and it felt cold and it was really weird. And it's like, okay, it's a ghost. Let's tell it to go away. Like, all right.
Like, dude, go away.
Yeah, well, it was like a cold front inside of the house. I don't know. It's just one of those weird things that happens sometimes. But it's like, as a skeptic, nothing cool happens like that anymore for some reason. It's just like, come on, ghost, come on, bring it on.
I'm ready for you.
Yeah. Well, a big part of it for me of believing in ghosts for so long is realizing now that I hear a lot of things that most people just don't hear.
Yeah, I've got really good hearing. So.
What?
Yeah.
What?
What?
I can hear myself. Wait. No.
Actually, I kind of can. I don't know what's going on. I hear a little bit of, like when I'm talking, I can kind of faintly hear myself in the background.
Yeah, there's a little bit of echo. I don't know if that's me or if that's the stream.
Could be.
I don't know. It's probably my fault. Most things are.
Could be George,
Yeah, it's George. Let me see. I'll turn it down.
the resident ghost.
But yeah, with the ghost, I mean, it's like, well, how does it work? Because if it can go, can it go through stuff? Because if it can go through stuff, then why doesn't it just sink to the center of the earth? And like, how does it work?
Yeah.
Start asking all these
know.
questions.
Yeah, well, for most people believe that ghosts are usually the spirits of people who have died.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how does that? How does that work? Like, why are they affected by gravity at all? Like, if they died in a plane, why wouldn't they still be in the plane, or would they be in the air? Or
It depends on where they're haunting. I've been told because some, like, if usually if they have some work left to do on Earth, usually it's where they die is where they do all their stuff according to legend. I don't know.
But how does it work? Like, how do they know?
Well, if they're stuck to a building, it's really more like their memory of how it was.
Yeah.
And that's why they'll sometimes walk through walls, is like if it's been remodeled and the wall wasn't there while they were alive.
I mean, like, at some point, someone will be, like, in space and die, and then you'll have a ghost in space.
Space
Just-
Ghost.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch
Just-
that when you were
yeah.
a kid?
Let's just, like, be in orbit. Like, I don't know. And we've sent people's remains into space, so there's probably some ghosts because of that in space. So
Sure, if you believe in such a thing, yeah. But
why not?
Makes
Like,
me
we've just littered our universe with more ghosts.
just makes me think of this movie that I watched about this woman and her two kids, and they were I can't remember the name, so but if anybody knows this movie, just let me know. They were at this house waiting for her husband to come back from the war. Like I think it was like World War I or something. And her children had this aversion to sunlight. They had that disease that made you like third-degree burns from sunlight. So she was
Yep.
always pulling the curtains closed.
Mm.
She would always enter the room and the curtains would be open. And she'd close them, and then the kids would come in, and then they'd leave, and then they'd go to another room, and the curtains had been closed, but then they're opened again. And she's got a gardener and a maid that are helping her, and it's just really creepy. Well, you go through, and the kids find the graves for the cook and the maid, and they're ghosts. And like I'm gonna spoiler. You get to the end of the movie and you find out they're dead too. And they're the ghosts haunting the house. And the reason that the windows keep opening is because the living people living in the house keep opening the windows.
sounds like Beetlejuice almost.
That's
Yeah, I
an
kind of
interesting
figured
story.
that's where it was going.
Now I'm trying to remember the movie I saw. Its name, but they're all dead and they're in the afterlife, but it's like they're about to go into hell, and the whole thing is like nobody's made it to heaven ever because nobody's perfect enough, and so then they know if they send a non-perfect being to heaven, then it will like collapse the entire afterlife completely. And so they choose to do that. It's like it's better to have no afterlife than have everyone be stuck in hell. It's like I like that. That's interesting.
Doorknob Head's asking if that movie was Skeleton Key. He says it's one he's seen.
Oh, actually, I just looked it up, and it was called The Others with Nicole Kidman, like a 2001 movie.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen that one.
No, I don't. I thought I had some kind of weird ghost thing happen a long time ago, but I could have attributed that to being drunk as well, because I spent a lot of that time being a drunk. It was weird because it's like I seen a face of a small child in some type of like, what do you call it? Like some kind of hutch with clear glass doors, and they kept the house about 75 degrees all year long. But for whatever reason, when I started seeing this image, that particular room dropped down to like 50 degrees, and then once the image went away, it resumed temperature again, and nobody had opened any of the doors or windows. So at one point, I was convinced that I had some type of ghost thing, and I'm like, this is weird because it's never happened to me before, and I just don't. Now that I'm an atheist, I just don't believe any of that really happened because personal experience isn't evidence for anything. So,
Right. I mean, there's all sorts of plausible and possible natural explanations for all these different events. There was a story I remember reading or hearing about where the scientists all thought for sure that their lab was haunted or something, and they got a investigator or whatever, and they found that there was this old air duct that nobody knew about, and it had this fan that was slowly turning, and it was making this noise that they heard it, but they didn't know that they were hearing it, and that's what was making. And so when they stopped that fan, it was like, oh, no more ghost, it's gone. It's like,
Well, that's the sad thing is that even scientists aren't immune to it. I was watching something once with it was a James Randi thing where they
I love that guy.
where the people like Uri Geller and whatnot had managed to trick the scientists until they brought Randy in, and Randy was like, well, yeah, he's doing this, and this. And that was how he was tricking them.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
him
the
on
setup.
TV several times, and
like with the matchbox, and it would like levitate and go. It's like, no, you just put your your hand into it and you can manipulate it or whatever.
yeah, but like what you were saying about the fan and the ventilator, see, that's the kind of thing that I've been tested. My hearing point's like 20 points out of the normal range, especially on the high pitches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I hear mechanical noises that nobody else is aware of, and they drive me nuts.
Right, and so like, and then of course high powered magnets can affect the brain and stuff like that. So it could be any number of things.
Yeah. So it's like, a lot of times, I was hearing high pitches that no one else could hear.
Yeah, my girlfriend does. She says she can hear electricity that none of us can, and that's weird.
There's a way to test that. That'd be interesting. You could actually test it.
Well,
go ahead.
Holy Kool-Aid just did this thing on. Well, I don't know. He may not have just done it because I'm so far behind in everything that I'm watching. It could have been 2 months ago, where he did the trick with the bolt that unwinds itself.
I saw him do the trick. I still didn't see the explanation for that one.
Well, but did you hear the buzzing whenever the thing was the thing was going? Purple? I'm just wondering. Like he would be like,
I wasn't aware of it, but maybe I just didn't realize it was coming from the video.
All it is you get a specific kind of nut that the back part pops off, and they put a little engine in it, and so what he's got is, and this is a spoiler, I guess, because he's got a little tiny magnet on his hand, and when he touches it, it creates an electrical signal, and that causes the thing to unwind. But I was watching the video, and I could hear it going. Like he would be like, "It's gonna work," and then it was a bzzz. I'm like, how is nobody in that? How is it? I'm hearing that on the video, but nobody in the room is hearing that.
Yeah,
and realizing there's got to be something
I didn't realize it was the video because I'm used to like, at night I can hear the refrigerator in the next apartment.
Plus, the microphone might pick up things that an ear wouldn't.
That's true.
If you're using, if you guys, any of you are using, see, I'm a voiceover artist too. If you guys are using condenser mics, a lot of the mics can pick up things that you can't normally hear. Like with the condenser mic that I had when I had my voiceover set up. Oh yeah, like that.
Yeah, it is. It's condenser. You're right.
Yeah, same like that. It would pick up noises from the highway, which was like 15 blocks from where I was at, and I can't normally hear that stuff. Or it'd pick up sounds from the racetrack or whatever, and I'm like, and it would get in, since I didn't have my room soundproofed. It would pick up all these noises and put it on my demo reels, and yeah, and so I'm like, well, I can't keep that because now that's trash. So
I realized that the first couple of videos I had, that I'm there and I realized that it was picking up the refrigerator. So it would sometimes be there and sometimes not be there, but I finally figured it was when the refrigerator cycles on.
If your refrigerator's running, you know what you have to do.
Go catch it.
Dad jokes.
Yeah. How do
Well,
you know
not going
that
to happen anymore. It's too cold out there for the refrigerator.
How do you know if there's been an elephant in the refrigerator?
There's
I have no
footprints in the Jello.
Yeah.
Footprints in the Jello.
Elephant can't fit in a fridge. No, just
Footprints in something.
Well, it depends on your refrigerator, and it depends on the elephant.
yeah,
doesn't
it
it?
might be like a really small one. You never know.
Really,
Just because you haven't
really small.
ever seen a small elephant doesn't mean that they don't fit. That's why you never see them. It's just really small.
Well, that's why they're
Uh,
afraid of mice, because they all started out smaller than mice, and you
Maybe.
just don't see them until they get big.
there
there
you
you
go.
go.
Can't prove that it's not true.
Yeah.
I had somebody recently just say to me, "Oh, you believe in miracle? You believe the universe came from nothing?" I'm like, "That's interesting. How do you know what I believe?"
Yeah.
It's like, "How about you ask me?" And they're like, "All right, well, how do you think?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know." All right. So why do you think it's a miracle? Because they said it's a miracle. I'm like, well, what's that? It's like it's a divine intervention. Well, how do you know that it's that? So we'll see if
Oh,
that
yeah.
goes anywhere. It's like,
And then it becomes the endless line of questioning,
oh yeah.
and
Always
eventually it just leads back to because it's God, okay? I'm like, no,
It can't
that's
not
not
be. That's what it
Yeah.
has to be. It can't be infinity because it just can't.
Yeah.
What? And
Hi,
I
Maya.
think with SJ again with the design argument. Oh, here's DNA. It's like it's like a library. It's like, yeah, it's like a library that's been smashed with a hammer. Like some of it works, sure, but a lot of it doesn't work. So this is bad designer. So you're arguing for a designer that didn't know what the hell they were doing. And
Oh, yeah.
why did they put the amusement park on top of and inside of the waste disposal plant?
Well,
Yeah, no shit.
okay. If all of this is intelligently designed, and we're supposed to be like the pinnacle of God's creation, then how come a frog or a salamander can regenerate a missing leg, but I can't regrow a truncated finger?
Yeah, I mean, the
It's
animals
like,
can do
why
things we
are
can't.
there other animals then that have abilities we don't have?
Sin.
Oh, you mean the made-up concept of human things that we do that are all of a sudden against God's laws, huh?
I was listening to this guy, Daniel Everett, talk about how missionaries are basically taught you have to destroy their culture. You have to make them have a desire that you can then fulfill, because you have to break them basically.
Mhm.
So it's like, oh, it's kind of scary. Because the Piana tribe that he deconverted because of that, like they were like complete empiricists. It's like unless you saw it or you knew someone that saw it, it's like they didn't care about it. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if this is historically true, but as the legend goes, the reason the Pilgrims were successful and made peace with the natives landing in Rhode Island was because they landed during a drought. And the Native Americans said, "Pray to your God for rain, for ours has abandoned us." And the next week it rained, so they all converted to Christianity.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard that. Yeah, but there was a lot of a lot of people in Mexico that had believed that there would be a white god, and then what is his name? The Spanish conqueror came. He was like, "Oh, really? Yeah, that's me. Yeah, give me all your gold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill a bunch of you people too." It's like,
Oh man.
Well, actually, the
Yeah.
Mayans had a legend of the seven bearded white men who landed there and won their freedom in a sports competition. And some people have speculated that was actually a Viking ship that managed to follow the coastline that far south. You know, into what would now be modern day Brazil.
Well,
But
that makes sense, I guess.
the other thing I was thinking of was how people say, well, it can't just be by chance. And it's like, well, you're missing out the filtering element. But I'm like, wait a minute. We're all here by chance. Like, I beat the odds. That's why I'm here. Like, basically, like, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for chance. So maybe that makes people feel too insignificant or humble or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and when they go on about how improbable something is, you know, it's like that just means you don't have a concept of scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if the
Or
universe is
probability.
infinite, then given enough time, anything that's not impossible becomes inevitable.
Right. Yeah. Of course, it's all just a computer simulation, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we're in a matrix.
True.
Sure. Okay. I don't know.
Oh my
Maybe we should-
goodness, doorknob head.
What do you say? I can't
My
see the
dad
chat.
didn't beat the meat that one night. That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
Well-
exactly.
Yeah, my mom didn't swallow me, so that's why I'm.
Yeah, I mean, basically. I mean,
I like that,
if a
though.
different egg had dropped, you would have been somebody else. I mean, you might have been a cat for all you know. You know?
Yeah, well, you know, and that's why the Catholic Church and, you know, so many Christian faiths are down on anything except the missionary position.
Mm.
They want to make sure the seed's not going anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, the Catholic
That's funny.
priests, you know, they're trying to prevent abortions by getting rid of all the. Never mind. I realized where that was going, and I'm like, no, it's too far. Never mind.
Your filter kicked in right at the
Yeah.
right time.
You know,
I'll do it later on my own channel.
yeah, that's okay.
Or I'll
You
put
know,
it on
that's-
Twitter. I was like, go ahead, ban me, Twitter. I don't
It's one of the reasons that the Catholics ran the orphanages.
care.
What
So
did
they
you do
have,
with all the babies when the priests and the nuns fooled around when they were all supposed to be celibate?
Yeah. Well, and of course, the Bible doesn't necessarily. I like what I like to say is the Bible endorses abortion, so it doesn't. You know,
Yeah,
in-
there's
in
a
there-
whole that formula in there.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
the bitter
yes.
water thing. Yeah. So anytime they say, you know what, it's in the Bible that God is against abortion, I'm like, no.
No.
Number one,
Yep.
you know, number one, it says quite a few verses, especially one in Genesis somewhere. It says that life begins at birth. So them trying to argue that a fetus growing inside of a woman is when life begins. And I'm like, no, because if you're a Christian, according to your Bible, it says it begins at birth. And number two, then you throw in the whole bitter water thing. And,
Yep.
you know,
Well, you're
Well, and-
assuming they actually read the dang Bible.
yeah,
Yeah.
no shit. Because and I like to also throw in that, you know, when I say that, it's like, you know, maybe you should try reading your Bible, because most of us atheists know the Bible better than most theists do. And especially more than Catholics. I used to be a Catholic. I'm a recovering Catholic.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we don't read the Bible. We read the bulletin.
So how is it with the recovering Catholic? It's like you've been 5 years that you haven't messed with an altar boy.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's just for the priest, though.
That's just for the free.
Yeah,
Lower
I wasn't-
down on the. You don't do that when you're just a member. That doesn't
Well,
happen.
Yeah.
it is anecdotal experience, but in my lifetime, I have met a lot of atheists and pagans who have read the Bible, and very few Christians who have.
Mhm.
They don't.
It's
Some
so
of them
boring.
don't feel like they have to. They've got their preacher to tell them what it says.
Well, the
Yeah.
Bible's boring. That's the big problem about it.
Well,
It's just
and
so
a lot
boring.
of the Christian denominations teach that the people really shouldn't, because it has to be interpreted properly.
Yeah, considering that you could give 10 pastors one book of the Bible and they could all interpret it different. And it's like, really, that's not how that's supposed to work.
The movie I was thinking of is called After Death. So if anyone wants to see that movie, it wasn't very well done, but I thought that the idea was like the idea itself could have been done better than the movie did. You know, it's one of those sort of movies. But
Yeah.
it's a good popcorn flick, maybe. I don't know.
Those are the ones I tend to get frustrated with when they've got a really good concept and they fail to live up to it.
Because I like the idea of that you would choose just that there's an afterlife, but you have to choose, between destroying it and then, having versus that there's a hell or whatever else. Like even if one person's in hell, that's enough reason to destroy the whole thing. In my view, like it's better there's not anything than one person is always suffering. Because
can you imagine what sin would be so horrible that somebody would have to burn for eternity and be tortured in hell?
I mean, really? Like I could understand like if they had to experience like all the things of the people that they hurt, like that would at least be fair. Like, but then they also should experience all the things of the people that they helped or whatever, like, like that. And then it's like,
Well, that's why they say life is a balance. All them, the yin and yang or whatever, because for all the good stuff that you do, there's bad stuff that you do, and it's supposed to equal itself out. But I don't know if it actually does. But who knows? I mean, can you imagine? What's wrong? But can you imagine if Hitler, considering what Hitler did, if he done enough good stuff in life to outweigh killing 5 million Jews? And then
I mean, like if he had to experience like each of those deaths or whatever, that'd be pretty brutal. Like, and then like I guess it depends how you pace it out. Like, do you have to experience all the bad stuff in a row, or do you get like some bad stuff and then the good stuff? And then like,
well, I mean, under that thought process, it would be you go to hell to experience the bad that you've caused, and then once you've experienced the bad, then you get to go to heaven for the good.
Right, and then but then it'd still be a limited time frame because there's only so much that unless you're going to extend it out to the like a ripple effect of the so maybe like all the flies you've ever killed, you have to experience their death too or something. Like this is
eternity we're talking about here. It's not really constrained by time, I guess. I don't know. I don't believe in any of that shit.
Yeah, no.
So I don't.
Do you think is there a room for a secular version of an afterlife, or is that just something that is so non-scientific that we can't?
There's I mean, I've watched all the talks about it where they're like, you damage one part of someone's brain and they forget something,
who they are,
or you damage another part and their personality completely flips. It's like there's no explaining an afterlife if in existence we can see that damaging the brain changes a person in that drastic a way.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but can you have you seen these accounts of like a person dying and supposedly going to heaven or hell?
Yeah, the NDEs. I don't.
They come back. And can you ever notice that they're always when they meet the god or devil, it has to do with whatever their religion is a part of? Because have you ever noticed that you never see a Christian say
having a Hindu,
or I met Allah, or I met Muhammad,
right?
Yeah.
Orange disappeared.
Yeah, he probably get kicked for a minute. He should be back shortly.
Okay. I was like, how are we still here if he's not?
Because
wasn't he keeping the universe together?
Because the host has to end the stream, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
But
I've been on Neil's after parties where Neil has accidentally ducked himself out,
Forgot
and
to
we
end
were all.
it.
No, it was accidental. Like he had screwed something up, and
Mhm.
he exited the chat accidentally, and then we were all still talking, and we're like, I wonder what happened to Neil.
Yeah,
But-
I used to read a webcomic that had a really interesting idea about heaven. In that, and what they said was, since it's infinite, so everybody gets their own spot in heaven, and that is their personal heaven. So if your idea of heaven is a grand party with feasting everywhere, then your part of heaven is a grand party with all of your friends and all of your family there eating and drinking and having this party. If you're a little kinky fucker, your idea
Like
of
me.
heaven is a BDSM dungeon, and anybody who would be comfortable in your BDSM dungeon would be in your BDSM dungeon doing their thing, and that every person that you see is actually a minuscule part of them, and so you're everybody. Oh, sorry. Let me try that again. You're experiencing every heaven that anyone else wants you to be in at the same time.
That's weird.
And since
Interesting.
since it's infinite, like if my idea of heaven is a party and I'm at the party, but my dad's idea of heaven is, sitting in the living room talking with family and watching sports, I'm also experiencing sitting in the living room watching sports
hmm
while I'm also experiencing my heaven, and then I'm also experiencing my boyfriend's heaven, and yada 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 yada.
I think my heaven would be them 72 virgins that all the Muslims talk about.
I'm not going to go into details. I'll leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that.
I don't know. I think that would be too much pressure. Having to teach 72 people every time.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'd have to have at least half of them know what they're doing. That way, it's not as because I don't want to have to teach a bunch of dullards. This is where you stick it. Yeah. Oh, really?
Or maybe they have the knowledge, just not the practice.
Oops.
Oh, see that I could deal with, but I'd still have to have a few that just knew what the hell they were doing. I think.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
anyways, we should
Yeah,
probably
Maya,
switch
that's.
topics. Get out of my heaven.
Yeah, get out of my heaven, man.
Get out of my heaven. What's
My
wrong with you?
heaven is only for anime characters and me.
Yeah. There you go. It's my heaven. Don't judge.
My heaven, don't judge. I'm the god in it. I can do what I want. Leave me alone.
Well, I hope Purple comes back. This is the longest he's been gone before. Oh, speaking of the devil.
I
The
don't know.
devil. The devil.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
No.
we
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
you.
What happened?
My computer's being flaky as hell tonight.
Ah.
You know what, guys? I actually have to duck out of here because I got to get up early and go into LA and unload, and then head up to Vegas for Sunday to load. And then
Well, thanks for stopping in.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Y'all have a good night.
Good
All
night.
right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, now we can talk bad about him. I can't even. Sure.
Okay, so, excuse me. Orla came in while I was out.
She's joined the chat. I don't know if she's in down below or whatnot.
No, just the side chat.
They really need to allow you to like make your own chat monitor, not moderators, but someone.
Yeah,
besides
assign
the main
somebody as a
person who-
co-host.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. In not
Yeah,
so
I was thinking of this. However you say the guy's name, Curse Kid Kate in a Nutshell channel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know that channel.
the only one. This is like the only video that I think that they've ever done that's not like about science per se, and
Oh
it's called The Egg.
yeah,
And
I saw that.
Yeah, thought that was kind of an interesting idea of like, well, here's a different sort of like a theological, metaphysical idea of what reality could be or whatever. And it's like, yeah, well, that's what it is. Cool. I guess I'll know it when I'm there, but
I mean, that's gotta be a better option than solipsism, or is that still basically solipsism?
well, that you're everybody, or that
You're everybody at every time.
well, I think it's kind of the idea is that then you'll treat people better because they're you, kind of an idea. But then it kind of gets weird if you're marrying yourself. But then again, it's
Well,
you.
you don't,
So.
but you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know,
that.
right. You don't know any of it. But it's supposed to be, I think, like the idea behind it is that that you'll treat other people better because it's you. But as far as it being like, if that's what reality really was, you're just growing up to evolve into this other being or whatever. It's like, okay, that'd be cool. I mean, I guess. I mean, however reality turns out to be, there's not really anything anyone can do about it. So
it's true. I mean, you
you
can't
know.
change reality.
That's what I was asking, the guy that I was interviewing. I was like, well, I was talking to him about the afterlife. I was like, which he doesn't really have. He's like, oh, I can't really prove any of that stuff. I'm like, well, you can't really prove any of the stuff that you believe in, but whatever. And it's like, well, why does what you believe affect where you're going in the afterlife? Like you're going to this positive heaven or this negative hell or whatever that means because of what you believe now. Why would it matter? Like, and what if you're skeptical of both sides? Then what happens to you? You didn't. But yeah.
I don't know. The heaven and hell ideas, I dispensed with those pretty quick when I was a kid. They just didn't make sense.
Hell was probably the last hanger on for me. Like I didn't believe in it, but still, like, there's that little bit of existential dread that pops up occasionally.
Yeah, I hear a lot of atheists say that that's the last thing that holds on.
For me, it was. I think the main thing was dealing with death and what that would mean. Because once I lost God, it was like, well, all the things connected to that were also gone. And so I had to refigure out what that is about. And then earlier this year, having to deal with a death and trying to make sense of that. And there isn't really a way. It's
yeah, I held on to believing in reincarnation for a long time.
I mean,
it seemed a bit more logical that if we had a soul, it was kind of recycled afterward.
Yeah.
Put into some other form.
Well, we're all returned to the universe in a way, but we won't know that necessarily because we're always just going to be, bits and atoms.
Yeah,
and, whatever.
That was the question: is does any of your conscious stay cohesive enough to still identify I?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe not. Probably not. Because there's pieces of me that have flown off by now that somebody has inhaled and become part of them. So what does that mean? So I don't know, but
I inhale a good bit of my cat every night.
Yeah, so maybe you're a cat now. I don't know. You are what you inhale.
I actually watched a YouTube video recently that mentioned you, Deconverted Man.
Oh yeah, I didn't do it. I swear.
No, I don't. I can't for the life of me remember what the video was about. But the only thing they said was something about something to the effect of, as long as this guy's been doing this, and he still can't adjust his camera.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, that's deliberate. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's Noah Plum then.
Was it no?
Yeah. Because he blamed me
Yep.
for
No,
the
yep, you're right.
S.J. Thomason's questions for atheists. That I have a little image of that I share on Twitter now and again of her comment about her questions. It just reveals all you need to know about this particular apologist, but I would say it applies to all apologists.
Her reactions to a couple of deaths in the community was all I really needed to know about her.
Yeah, too bad they're in hell now. It's like, oh, fuck you. Can I say that here?
Yeah.
I said uck. That's what I said. YouTube. It was uck. It's
Yeah.
Look. If they get
ice
mad
hole.
over that,
There's a hole in the ice.
Well, and that's the worst kind, are the people who think it doesn't really matter how they behave toward other people as long as they've accepted Jesus.
well,
Yeah.
that's my main issue a lot of the times with this whole idea of oh, I forgot the official word for it, but it's like you ask God for forgiveness, He'll forgive you of any sin, but then you don't have to make it up to the person you actually sinned against.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's the problem I had with the Catholic Church. It's like we're supposed to go in and confess to the priest, but we didn't have to mention it to anyone else. So if you stole something and you confessed to the priest, you were okay. You didn't even necessarily have to give back the thing you stole.
Right. It's like, well, do you still have
And
it?
I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even as an 8 or 10-year-old kid, I could see that was a fucked up system.
Where is it?
But you actually, the thing that finally made me give up religion altogether and, go to total atheist was after my fiance died, because it's like everybody was trying to assure me with all these platitudes about how she's in a better place now and all this stuff. And it's like every time somebody said that, it really felt like they were kicking me in the ribs. Because it really felt like they were minimizing loss. And it's like, that's not what I want right now.
Yeah. I mean, if they exist in somewhere or when in some way, it doesn't really do us any good because they're not here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, well, all I can do is carry on that legacy and try to share it with other people and share their wisdom with others or whatever. Because wherever they are, if they are anywhere at all, it's not here. So, that's what, so like good, bad, what have you, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
That,
Well, a lot of people cling to that though, with the idea that, that they'll see the other people who have passed after they die. So, that they'll be with their parents or their loved ones or whoever.
I mean, like I said, I mean, as far as who knows, it could be, but I don't have any reason to believe it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like, what do you say when someone leaves the mortal coil as a skeptical person? You're just like, well, that's, mortality sucks. It's like, it's hard to find the words.
Yeah.
The only thing true I know to say is, well, their molecules, their atoms are now, diffuse into the air. So we're all going to be part of them. They're going to be part of us, and we're all, back in this universe, and that's where we came from and where we're going to go. But that again, it doesn't really. I guess there isn't. Well, I guess it is platitudes, no matter how you look at it. But I just wish there was something that.
I always just say I'm sorry for your loss and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about all you can really do. Or, I don't know. I guess it is platitudes, no matter how you look at it. But I just wish there was something that, that there was something that
I always just say I'm sorry for your loss and leave it at that.
Yeah. you know, like you say, you need to kind of carry on what's left of the people, which is just our memories.
Why do we say sorry when it's
Well,
it's
you
not
can,
like it's our fault?
share
Like,
things about them that you
yeah.
remembered.
Right.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I'm not sure. Like, why do we always apologize?
Yeah, why do we
for everything?
apologize? Like, it's not your fault, is it?
Yeah.
You push someone down the stairs. Sorry, they're dead now. Whoops. It's all right. You apologize. It's fine. But I've used that. If there was like, if people don't act like there's an afterlife, like
Yeah,
why aren't you like
2525. Yeah, Dark
Yeah.
Matter did a cartoon on that about what if Christians really believed in heaven. It's like they can't actually commit suicide because that's a sin, but, they should be overjoyed every time somebody dies.
Right. I guess I can't do that. Well, anyways, yeah, but I said to SJ that she asks all these questions. That's like, what's the point of this? It's like she knows the answer, and so she's not asking questions to gain knowledge.
Yeah.
They're all traps, and that's this other guy, Bitch Spot Blog, the lion with it. He's like face palming lion
Yeah.
guy, answering all these questions, and the guy is responding now. It's like the third video he's responding to him now. And I said, what's the point of these questions? Are you actually trying to find things out, or do you think you already know the answers? If you already think you know the answer, don't even ask the question. Why would you think we know these answers? Like, people assume it's like, oh, you believe the universe came from nothing. I don't believe anything about where the universe came from, or even if it came. I don't have any idea. I have no idea. There's no belief one way or the other. It's like, well, you have to believe. No, I don't know.
No, we have theories, we have ideas.
Some ideas, maybe some
and
guesses.
we have a lot of smart people who are working on the
it's
questions,
not my
but
field.
we don't have definitive answers
Yeah, somebody smarter than I is going to have to figure that out, because I have no.
No, but
Yeah,
that's not even good enough answer for them half the time, because if you see the exchange that's been going on between SJ and Dr. Josh.
Mm-hmm. Right. He said,
thing.
yeah, he said, I told you, like, I don't know because I haven't studied that. It's like, you didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know why they have such a hard time accepting I don't know as an answer.
I was just told that.
Do you expect everyone in the world should be able to answer every single question?
Well, that's the thing. Like, there was this meme that I had seen ages ago, and it showed two kids sitting at their desk, and one kid had a stack of books highest the end of the comic, and the other one just had one, and it was basically saying, these are the books that a scientist has to read to give you an accurate answer to your question.
Mm-hmm.
And then it pointed to the kid with the Bible or the Quran or whatever holy book it was, and said, this is the only book they have to read to give you a half-assed answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody had put that on Twitter, I think. I think I saw that recently. Oh. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I just realized that the pop-up chat I had wasn't updating after I had been knocked off, so I haven't seen what anybody's been saying in the side chat for a while. Okay. For a minute there, I was afraid it had froze up again.
I'm trying to find that one comment, but it's lost. But yes, somebody was saying, like, I don't know is not an answer. I was like, well, no. When you don't know, that is the answer. Yep. I'm sorry.
Idea what she actually believes, but she's really just an attention whore. She'll say whatever it takes to get people to pay attention to her.
Oh yeah, that's what makes her a great apologist. That's a great apologist right there. I can't divorce her though. I can't. I want to. I can't stop. I said I was going to.
So, browsing Twitter for possible topics. Should atheists, non-religious, tell their children that Santa is real?
No.
I don't like the Santa myth.
You shouldn't lie to people because lying is wrong.
Well, and I think the Santa myth is very harmful to poor kids.
Yeah.
Because you're telling them if they behave, they'll be rewarded. But if their parents can't afford to buy the rewards, then what happens?
Right. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
that's one of those things people get flack for. Is every Christmas time they'll share out images basically saying, hey, if you do the Santa thing, reel it in. Don't tell your kids that the reason they got a PlayStation 4 is because Santa gave it to them, because some kids only get socks from Santa.
Yeah, see, and I grew up with that because, we were the poor family in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the kids who were total assholes at school always got 10 times what I got.
Mm-hmm.
So just the whole thing didn't make any sense.
Yeah, just don't, like I said, don't lie to the kids. Tell them about the person of Nicholas, what he actually did that we actually know that he did, and how that myth grew and developed and changed, and that other people might believe in this as a thing.
Yeah.
But
the Santa's a big composite thing anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because even before St. Nicholas, the Norse legend was about Odin flying his chariot across the sky on the winter solstice.
I don't like how the news, at least it used to, NORAD, yeah, they'd be like, oh, NORAD's tracking it or whatever. Like, no, NORAD doesn't do that, one. And I don't understand why people play into this, and like every Christmas movie is always the same with it's about faith. It's like encouraging faith, and it's like,
see, I don't know. I mean, I don't see a problem with playing the Santa game up to a point. Like when they're little and you tell them Santa's going to bring them presents. But like the minute that they start showing doubts, that's when you'd be like, okay, yes, this is just a game. It's just something that everybody plays. Don't know why, it's just a game. Don't tell anybody. But like the ones that go all out into trying to trick their kids into continuing to believe in Santa, even after they've already expressed doubts about it.
Yeah.
That's the ones that I'm just like, you might be taking this a little far.
Well, and it's likely to backfire on them, because then the kids are going to start asking, what else have my parents been lying to me about?
I don't think you should play the game at all, because it's lying, and I'm not okay with lying. I mean, it's just, you tell the truth and say, look, it's a legend, this is how it developed, and the presents come from us. If you get anything, it's from me. There you go. That's the end of that. And make it. You don't have to make it about presents. Just spend time together or whatever. Anyways,
fish on.
Okay. I don't know. DoorDash has fish on, so I put it on my head. There you go.
Oh.
Okay. Orla saying in the side chat, it also shows an important life lesson about faith. Eventually, most people find out it's their parents. It also helps show life isn't fair and assholes often get what they want.
Trying to remember the guy, Thurman Trees.
Yeah.
and his deconversion story of how his brother and him worked out. Oh, the Santa is all fake. Okay, and the parents were like really happy about that, and then they were like, wait a minute. This God thing, that seems like the same thing. It must be some test. And they couldn't figure out how it wasn't a test. So I was like, wouldn't that be a brilliant society though, where it was a test? Like where if you broke free and said, no, this is all fake, they'd be like, yay, you're grown up now. You're an adult. Congratulations or whatever. Oh well.
There was a story like that. I can't even remember, it was so long ago, but yeah, but basically that was the thing, that everybody got the religious indoctrination, and it was the ones who were smart enough to see through it that then wound up getting basically the positions in the government running things.
I was also thinking about because we were talking about beliefs and other things like superstitions. Or did you ever do the thing of Bloody Mary? Like you turn off the light and you look at a mirror and you say Bloody Mary, and you're supposed to see something or whatever.
I never heard of that stuff until I was an adult.
Oh, really? We
Yeah.
did that when we were kids. We'd go in the bathroom and we'd be like Bloody Mary, and we'd run out screaming, and everybody would run out screaming. Like you never saw anything, but it didn't matter. You ran out. That's what you did. So, you know.
Yeah, we had a Ouija board.
Oh yeah, that would have been a no-no, I think. Yeah. Did you summon demons with it? Come on, that's why you're an atheist.
I know. I know. You, like my mother still won't even let you have a Ouija board in her house, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so scared of the thing with Milton Bradley printed on the back of it.
Well, I got into the argument a lot as a pagan, and it's like, okay, even if you assume this thing does work, if it's in the box and you're not doing anything, how is the chance of that summoning demons any better than the chance of my car repairing itself if I leave a toolbox next to it?
Ah! There. Okay. What? Santa's not real? People are still catching up. Sorry, we blew everybody's mind with Santa not being real. Oh,
The tooth fairy poofed them all out of existence.
that's right.
Yes, Doorknob had saying it's because he didn't have brothers and sisters close enough, and it's like, I had plenty of brothers and sisters, but it's like nobody paid attention to me. Nobody taught me shit.
It was at school that I learned all this weird stuff like that. So, but then you have to wonder where those kids learned it from. So who knows?
Well, done right, you can see things in the mirror.
Yeah.
But I'm imagining that most kids that do it get too freaked out and don't actually see anything.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically convincing yourself that you're seeing something, and then if you have the lights off, which we did, then it's really easy to convince yourself that you're seeing something other than yourself.
Well, it's a psychological thing where you like fill in the gaps.
Mm-hmm. And we're really good at.
If you're already hyped up that something scary is going to happen,
your brain's going to fill the
any random
gap.
noise,
right? And
or
we're really good at
movement in your peripheral is going to scare the hell out of you.
We're really good at seeing faces too. So
yeah.
Because I think Rachel Oates was talking about that in one of her videos recently.
It'd be great if that painting back there just fell off the wall right now.
Just keep in mind, if I talk about anything that I've seen recently on YouTube, that could be anywhere between now and October.
But yeah, it's like now that would have been a perfect cue for it to fall down, and I would just have lost it.
Well, see, you need to do that in one of your videos. You need to, rig it with some kind of remote switch so the streamlets go.
Well, that was the Boo video, I guess. But I had my brother do the scary maze prank. I told him, you're going to get scared. You're going to get scared. And even though I kept telling him that, like, he got so into the thing, like, when it came up, he still was scared by it. And he's like, ah, oh, okay. And he starts laughing. So it was great. Anyways.
I guess that was part of it for me, too. It's like, you know, I had enough real things to be scared of. So basically, I knew if something scared me, it was probably one of my brothers doing it.
Snape hunting? I have no idea what that is. What's snipe hunting?
Snipe hunting.
I don't know what
Yeah.
that is.
Basically, it was just you get people running around looking for something that doesn't exist.
Hmm. But saying it can't be real because he goes around the Earth and the Earth is flat. So there you go. Debunked. I'm like, wait a minute. See, that's what irritates me. Like, it's not like even when they show the dang thing, it's like the Earth is like this, and then there's like all this stuff. And it's like, okay, so it's an ice cream cone shape. Like, you guys can't even get that right. Like,
Well, it's a pancake. See,
Yeah.
that's why I was always saying that they said Australia really it was actually a flat Earth disk. And the only thing that
Yeah.
could go around the edge are the black helicopters, because you know they're part of every conspiracy.
I think that, you know, like VR, I really want to get a VR thing because there's so many different things you can mess with that. Like, this one guy experimented with wearing it like 24/7. And it's like, yeah, like if it gets light enough to where you could wear it and forget you're wearing it, uh-oh, that could be a problem.
I can actually see a problem with some people, you know, getting psychologically addicted to the VR. You know, and just not wanting to come out of it.
Yeah, like what if though, like you had it like augmented reality where you can see whatever is there, but you also see the things that aren't there as well. But if somebody was like raised with that, like implanted in them or whatever from birth,
Yeah.
what would that do? So I need basically is what I'm saying is I need a lot of funding for my new scientific projects that are evil.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
I really should start a Woo channel. You know, I can spin a good story. When I see how stupid people really are, I could have made thousands if I didn't have ethics.
Darn ethics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
look, I've been
honestly,
trying to start my own religion for a long time, and people won't bite. So I don't know.
Until I got involved with YouTube, I did not realize anyone took Flat Earth seriously. I thought it was just a running joke. And, you know, I get in here and I find out that there are thousands of people who seem to actually believe this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you know, if it's out there, yeah, people will believe just about anything.
Well, I mean, you know, things like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. Okay, I can see there's a little bit of room for doubt of some species we haven't, you know, discovered yet. But when you get to the flat Earth stuff, it's just like, you know, it just doesn't fit with anything.
It's kind of based on this flawed idea. It's like, well, unless you see it, it's not real or whatever. And it's like, well, great, but then you can't have a model of what it looks like because you haven't seen it then. So it's weird sort of, and a lot of it, it is based on the Bible. They'll just be like, yeah, no, it says that in the Bible. That's
Yeah.
where, like, oh, okay. You're right, it does. It says it's flat in the Bible. So, yeah, the Lobsterist, I've been trying to get people to join, but I don't know. It's just not happening. Nobody cares that I'm doing this on my head that's in chat. They've accepted it.
Well, I've come to expect it of you.
Yeah. Somebody said something, and I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing.
TV Tube says Woo Fluff is fun and doesn't require thinking. Perfect for me.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like the website Time Cube I would read for fun every now and then. I love that. That was great. Good times.
Yeah, well, that is one good thing about the conspiracy nuts is it provides a lot of entertainment.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't prove that it's not true.
Well, there's thousands of channels that prove weekly that's not true. It doesn't stop them.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that. I was like, what are they talking about? So why do they have, like, we have a kitty, we have a dinosaur guy, and then we got whatever the hell I am. This is weird. Reality is weird. Why is cat eyeballs looking like this?
Oh, because it's a derpy kit.
Oh, it's a dirt cat.
I always thought the cat looked like it had just been, like really surprised or
Well,
just suddenly
I mean,
startled.
if you see the whole picture,
Cool. Put
give me
those
1 second. Let me
eyeballs
pull it up, and I'll.
I think I'm gonna Photoshop that, or not Photoshop it. But I'm gonna do something, whatever it's called.
I said, so when I first was getting the character made, this is a picture by Gaelic Knox. She had been drawing her own. I shared the screen for the full cat, for the full picture.
Okay. I see it.
And originally, so you see, there's a person in the jar.
Oh yeah.
And there's a cat in the jar, and they're all screaming. And so she's really shocked. So originally the character was having this panic shock scream attack because all the rum was gone. That bottle was originally going to be tilted on its side, empty, because she drank all the rum. But then while Gaelic was doing the picture, Cyrus said, you should put Ocean in a bottle. And so that is a mini Ocean Keltoy. And his cat Calcifer. And so it went from being this story of a kitty upset because she's got no rum to a kitty upset because there's a mini human in her bottle of rum.
I hate when that happens. Either way, the rum's ruined.
Yeah.
Unless you like eating. Maybe it makes it taste better. Who knows?
I don't know. Ask Orla. She bit Ocean. She knows what he tastes like.
Wait, what?
Orla bit Ocean. She knows what he tastes like.
This I did
It
not
was
know.
on Twitter yesterday that she bit Ocean.
Oh.
That's
Gotcha.
the guy that believes in like the old
Polytheist, Norse
the old
polytheist.
old gods and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a bit unclear on how literally he takes that.
Yeah. I think I talked to him like once, but not in any depth or length or anything. It was just like, why do you believe any of this? Like, I didn't see any more compelling reasons to believe in that than any other theology. So.
Yeah, well, I make a lot of the Norse references, but it's my Scandinavian heritage. So I figure, if I'm going to have some kind of gods, I'll just go back to my grandfather's.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's one question that every now and then will come up. Like, if there was a god or a religion that you could decide to be true, what would it be and why?
Well, I also think the world makes a lot more sense if you believe that there's a group of gods who are fighting amongst each other with different ideas on how things should work. That makes sense of why the world is so messed up.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why when I was coming out of Christianity, I decided that well, I didn't decide, but I thought that I still believed in something, but I was like, okay, there's in most species there's male and female. Why would why would the divine only be male? And that was kind of one of those things that directed me into being a pagan for a while. I was Wiccan for a while.
Yeah.
Um, but then I've always said, like, if it was one of those things where it's like you have to claim a religious belief, I would go Norse pagan, because or maybe Hellenistic, which is like Zeus and Hera and all that jazz, because it just makes more sense. It doesn't make sense to have a god that's um I'm all good, but everything is bad. Like I'm all good, but I'm also in charge of everything that happens that's poor and bad.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have multiple gods and one god is over this and another god is over that,
Yeah.
it makes sense that they would be conflicts in what happens.
Yeah, and again, that's the problem I have with the Christian mindset, that there is one God who is all loving, but when horrible things happen, it's all part of God's plan. We just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. It's a love that I don't recognize, basically.
It's the love of an abusive spouse is what it is.
Doorknob said, for my dog tags, I had chosen Protestant because it had the word protest in it. I had no idea what it was about.
Here's your new avatar.
Where did you put it?
Okay, put it up there. I'll share it. I'll let everybody see it.
I put it
Unless
in
it's obscene.
No, it's not. God, it's a Yandere. Why not? That actually.
Well, that's been a concept that's been going around lately. I've seen quite a few people, Cirrus specifically.
If she was a cute Yandere, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I saw Cirrus's video on that.
Saucerius. That's hard to say. I saw the Sirius at the seashore sometimes. Salty.
Salty,
Well, it also
salty,
makes sense.
salty,
Salty.
salty Cirrus sauntering at the seashore.
So, I put it in the Twitter for you there, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know how to put it in chat here. There's no button for that.
Oh, you were messing around with mine. I thought you were messing with Pirate Kitties.
No. I thought it would be cuter on yours.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, I gotta save it into my computer and then I can put it up there. Oh. I've got to open it up in the viewer program first.
What's on Twitter?
Everybody see it now?
Yeah.
Looks like the eyes are bulging out.
Yeah, that's the kitty's eyes on your thing. So my work here is done. That was somebody had drawn circles around like Christian, Catholic, whatever, and then they had atheists in a circle, and they're like, no, atheists go outside the circle because they're not like one cohesive group. And I'm like, you can't put me outside of the circle. That's a circle too. I'm in the non-group group. I don't want to be in any group. A non-group is a group.
Well, that's how we show up on the surveys, is as the nuns.
No, I'm in the non group of, and I don't even want to be in that group. Eat that, yeah. That's probably along the lines of atheist. I would think would be close to that. They think everybody but them is wrong about God, like. So that's an interesting thing. Have you ever looked at that atheist?
I thought an atheist was somebody who worships fish.
No, IG theist.
No, I don't know what you're...
No, you don't know what I'm talking about. That's all right. I don't know what I'm talking about either. Big theist.
Oh. Is the idea that the question of the existence of God is meaningless because the word God has no coherent and unambiguous definition.
Yep. Okay.
So atheists and theists are both wrong, and only atheists are right. It's great. I love it.
I'm an apatheist. I don't care.
I don't care anymore.
No, and it makes it easier for arguing with Christians that, I'll jump right past the question of does he exist? Even if I assume he exists exactly as described in the Bible, you've got a fucking long way to go to say I have to worship him.
Mm.
I am not worshiping an egotistical genocidal maniac.
Yeah, that's one of those things that they apologists think they've got a gotcha when they say, well, let's assume God is real. And I'm like, okay, but that still doesn't mean I have to worship him.
Mm. Exactly. Yep. That's why you're going to hell, because you don't want to worship it. Like, okay.
Hell sounds like a much better place to me.
Although hell's not in the Bible, so.
Yeah. Well, experience has proven me that, any pain, physical or psychological, I will eventually adjust to the point that's just background noise.
Yeah, that brings to mind the one of my favorite songs, "Ill Mind of Hopkins" #7, where one of the lines is him saying hell is just is the if I feel like I'm in hell, I forget now how it goes, but it's really good. Dang it!
What's the song called?
Ill Mind of Hopkins 7. Here, I'll put it. Let's see. It's one of my favorite ones. Let's put it here. I can't put it in normal chat. I can put it in the private chat thingy.
Now, see, heaven, on the other hand, sounds like it's incredibly boring. That would be a lot worse.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
And when I feel I am in hell, my ideas are what get me through pain.
That's it. Yeah, that's the lyric I was thinking of. It's like, I think that's, I don't know, I was thinking about that, how religion can strip away your self-worth. It's like, no, you're the one that gets through the hard thing. You're the one that did the accomplishment,
Yeah.
Stop saying, oh, well, it's not me, it's God. No, it was you. You're the one that did the work, I don't know. But yeah, I like that. It's basically, it's like a deconversion rap song.
Yeah, Orla, now you're tracking IP addresses all over the floor here.
All right. Well, I'm out of ideas that are interesting, I think. So that was the thing I did. Thanks, Purple. Thanks, Kitty. Thanks, everyone in chat.
Yeah, well, thanks for stopping in chat with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you ever want logic, let me know. Even if you don't want logic, let me know.
Well, Purple's been trying to limit his streams to about an hour, 2 hours,
Yeah.
anyways, and it's an
Well,
hour and
yeah.
40 minutes.
Has it been? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it down to 2 hours because StreamYards is putting time limits on how much I can stream every month now.
Yeah,
All right.
20 hours a week.
You know, it's 20 hours a month.
So I'm sorry, a month.
Yeah. And I'm still not sure whether or not they count that part of the session before we actually connect to YouTube.
Well, you'll probably find out soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guess we'll find out.
So I
when
may
we
wind
find
up finding out that I can't stream during the last week of the month because I've used up all the time.
Well, if that's the case, I could stream it, and then you could download it and put it up on your channel.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We could come online, and if you can't stream, I'll start up one. We'll do it on my channel, and then we'll just put it on yours.
Well, Mikey was also offering that if he got the paid version of StreamYards, that he would be willing to share.
Now, StreamYards really quacks me up.
And jokes like that are why you're always ducking.
Look, we're on the web. Because the web feed. No, I didn't.
No, that's
I need
foul.
to get down with it. Yeah.
Down. Oh.
Just put it on my bill. All right. Bye.
Duck puns. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. See you later.
Remember, quack.
And lobsters.
What's the lobster thing? I don't get it.
I have no idea. He's trying to make a religion around lobsters. I don't get it either. But he says everything comes back to lobsters in all of his live streams.
Oh.
So
I wonder if it's a Peterson reference. There's this whole thing with Peterson and lobsters.
no, I didn't know that.
Yes, look it up. It's interesting. I don't know quite how to express it, but yeah, apparently it's something to him saying that, even lobsters have a hierarchical, whatever the hell that word is, structure, and that's why if humans are gone, they'd be the next dominant species or some shit like that. I've got literally no idea. I don't even think Peterson knows what he's saying half the time. Did you see that episode that they did on Prophet of Zod where it was a game show and it was Ray Comfort, Jordan Peterson, and
Yeah, I know I saw it, but it was a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a while ago. But yeah.
Well,
I was really impressed. I was really impressed with the Ray Comfort voice. Had no idea who it was.
yeah, I don't remember who did which voice now.
It was Neil.
Ah.
I'd heard the Jordan Peterson. So Jordan Peterson was voiced by
I thought Cirrus did one of them.
Yeah, Cirrus did the other guy whose name that I cannot remember right now.
Okay.
And Ocean did Peterson.
Okay.
It was Lee Strobel. Cirrus did the voice of Lee Strobel. Neil did the voice of of Ray Comfort. Ocean did Peterson, and then Vice Rhino was the host of the show.
Yep.
But yeah, did you see the? This is just a quick question before, because we still got 15 minutes. Did you see the interview that Ray Comfort did with Jordan Peterson? No, I'm sorry. Jesse Lee Peterson interviewed Ray Comfort.
No, I don't remember seeing that.
I didn't see it. I saw Jacqueline Glenn doing a review of it, and I just got to say, I never thought I would feel sorry for Ray Comfort.
Oh, hi, Mikey.
That interview was insane, and with the overt sexism and misogyny from Peterson from Peterson. Jesse Lee. At one point, Ray Comfort goes, "My wife is my equal," and he goes, "So how are you like a woman?"
Well, I saw one where Ken Hovind or Ken Ham had Ray Comfort on his Answers in Genesis thing. And it's like, I looking at Ray Comfort and thinking, like, you don't even realize that even he's not taking you seriously.
Wait, Comfort didn't take Ham seriously? Is what you're
No,
saying?
Ken Ham didn't take Ray Comfort seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, I've just got you on here to grab your audience. You're
Mhm.
nothing.
But yeah, it was just got room for two more. That's what Mikey's asking.
Yeah, Mikey. Aren't you in the Twitter group to get the links?
I don't believe he's in the group.
Oh. Up. Okay, Mikey, I just sent you the link on Twitter. Two more? Who else? There he is. Hello.
Hola.
Hey, Mikey.
What's up?
No.
No. The other guy, ended up going to bed. So. What's up?
Nothing.
Not much. It's been a pretty quiet night. Everybody's kind of out of it, seems.
Yeah. No. So, Pirate Kitty, you'll laugh at this. The first thing after our little lovely chat that popped up at my fucking my YouTube browser, and I took a screenshot of what it was. It was like the third video down, and I sent it to Purple. The Brazen Bull, worst punishment in the history of mankind. I was like, no, why is this showing up? Because we talked about it.
No, there's something worse than the Brazen Bull, though.
I'm just saying, we literally talked about it, and it was it was like in the top 10 videos that were available for me to watch on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like in like your feed or whatever. Like,
I gotcha.
Someone tell me that they're not listening to us. It was literally right there.
Okay, so let's see. Let's try this. Let's try this then, and I'm going to tell you about a worse one.
Oh God.
It's
living
basically
in America under Donald Trump. Never mind.
So what they would do is they would take you and they would take a boat and they would cut out space so that you could stretch your arms out and stretch your feet out. They would tie you to the boat and fill the boat with milk and honey. And then they would feed you milk and honey, tie another boat on top of you so that you could not move, and then float you out into a swamp. And then they would pull you back in every day and they would force feed you milk and honey.
So where's
Where's the torture part?
I'm confused about the boats. Like, is it like a drawn and quartered situation where I'm tied to both boats, or
No, you're in one boat with your arms and legs extended out.
okay, like a rowboat or like a
Yeah, like a rowboat,
ship?
like a rowboat.
Okay.
Okay, just so our audience at home can follow along, this is the brazen bull we were talking about.
Or
Yeah.
That it was just a brass bull that they would put somebody inside and light a fire under it, basically cooking the person.
but the reason that this torture was so bad was that you were in a swamp and you were covered in milk and honey.
Oh, the bugs.
So the bugs would come
Yep.
and they would lay, and you're in the boat and you're being force fed. So you're not only are you sitting in milk and honey, you're sitting in your own fecal matter and your own urine, and there's bugs everywhere. And eventually they start to eat your flesh because they're eating at the milk and the honey, and then they just keep going.
Yeah.
You can put one mosquito near my ear, and I'll tell you everything. That specific frequency that their little wings make, that zzz, you just do that, and I'm fucking all right. Listen, Purple did it, and Pirate Kitty helped. They were both working in cahoots with Neil the 604 Atheist. I saw the whole thing.
See, and that's the problem with torture, that people will say anything to get out of it. It doesn't give you good information.
It gives you information, but is that information credible?
Yeah.
So, according to Wikipedia, it entailed trapping the victim between two boats, feeding and covering them with milk and honey, and allowing them to fester and be devoured by insects and other vermin over time.
Yeah, I'm lactose intolerant, so
That would be even worse.
I just have like the worst gas.
Well, I've also heard of them tying people down and just pouring honey over them until the ants found them.
Ooh.
Yeah. It says two boats are joined together, one on top of the other, with holes cut out in them in such a way that the victim's head, hands, and feet are only left outside. Within the boat, the man. Within the boats, the man is punished. Within the boats, the man to be punished is placed laying on his back, and the boats are then nailed together with bolts. Next, they pour a mixture of milk and honey into the wretched man's mouth, till he is filled to the point of nausea, smearing his face, feet, and arms with the same mixture, and so leave him exposed to the sun. This is repeated every day, the effects being that flies, wasps, bees, attracted by the sweetness, settle on his face, and all such parts of him as project outside the boat. The miserably torment and sting the wretched man. Moreover, his belly, distended as it is with the milk and honey, throws off liquid excrement, and these putrefying beasts breed swarms of worms. Distended as it is with milk and honey, throws off liquid excrement, and these putrefying, and there's wording weird here. It says, and these putrefying breed swarms of worms, intestinal and all sorts.
No.
Thus the victim lying in the boat, his flesh rotting away in his own filth and devoured by worms, dies a lingering and horrible death.
Now there's no way on doorknob. There's no way I'm wasting my fucking honey on that person. I might give him milk, but I'm not giving him honey. Honey is delicious, and I'm keeping that for myself.
Well, you gotta think about it. You're a king with hundreds of your own beehives and an endless supply of honey.
But I love that on my waffles in the morning. What if we run out?
It still, considering how expensive honey was,
Yeah, that's rare.
that seems awfully wasteful just to torture somebody. And
yeah, just fucking throw them off a cliff and call it a day. Don't fucking waste all the honey and then have to throw the dead body off the cliff because it's full of worms.
yeah.
Oh no! Then when it's done, they just cut the boat and let it float off into the swamp by itself.
Now I gotta make another boat. No.
Yeah, it's a huge waste of money.
Waste of honey, waste of boats. And then the bees.
But it
so-
just shows how wonderfully sadistic some people can be, huh?
And then what about this? You fucking surround him in a wooden structure made out of fucking milk and honey, and now all the cows and the fucking bees love him. They make a fucking exoskeleton, and now he's a fucking Superman with bee powers. No, he will not be king of the bees under my watch. It would empower him. So Boris Johnson, Conservative Party, sets to hold parliamentary majority. Did y'all hear about this?
No.
No,
Kind of.
we got some results.
Yeah, Boris is in. He has the majority. So the UK has now, they have their own Trump. All right.
Yeah,
so
but-
take me to road trip it to Mars.
Boris Johnson doesn't seem to really be crazy. It seems to be a very calculated act.
Seems to be working.
Mhm.
The problem is that if it is an act, nobody's really sure what his real agenda is.
Right. Hello, Orla. Oh, Orla, this directly affects you. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, actually, Doorknob Head, I did have to go in and edit like 12 seconds out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
I said it 100 times, don't do it, and no one listened.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, just as you were going through that, my cell phone was distracting me.
I
So
was
I
literally.
wasn't quite hearing what you guys were saying at the time. So, but hey, good thing I found out that I can actually edit these things after they're on,
Well,
which I didn't know I could do before.
unfortunately, I've already recorded it. And for the small sum of $1 million, I will not post it again.
I mean, if you post it, then you'll be the one. I mean, he's not denying it happened. He just took it down because he didn't want to get a strike against with YouTube.
You made Purple do extra work. How dare you?
I went through and figured out how to do it too. I'm like, this
Yeah,
is how
she,
you do
she
it.
was actually the one who explained it to me, so she's being responsible.
All right.
I probably wouldn't have figured it out on my own because their software never makes any sense. I can never find where to do anything.
Same.
Was the screen moving? Because like I was trying to test it out, and I was trying to test out the blurring.
Well, I tried to do the blurring, and at one point it scrolled up while you had the picture on,
Mhm.
and the blur did not stay covering it.
Oh, but it was still in that same area. Oh, I don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
Too much.
Well, just the blurring could work for blurring out like a specific element that was moving around the screen, but since it was taking up most of the screen at the time and it was several separate pictures,
Mm.
it threw it
Oh,
off when it moved.
so you were trying to have it do the tracking one.
Well, I was trying to have it cover the whole area, but when the screen scrolled, then the blur scrolled up with it.
That's okay. I see what you were trying to do. There's a way where you can do it where the blur doesn't move. So you just make the blur the size you want, and then you hit lock and extend it, and it would just cover the entirety of the screen. You
Okay, I didn't see the option for that.
Mm-hmm. It was really slow to make it do anything. It was kind of like I would put the blur, and then I'd have to wait like 5 minutes for the instructions to come up on not the instructions, but the details on the bottom to come up so that I could lock it or drag the time out.
Ah. Okay, I'll have to play around with the options more.
Mm.
But yeah, it wasn't much, and actually the way it cut, I don't think anyone else watching it would even notice.
Hopefully people didn't watch all the way to the end.
According to the analytics, no one ever does.
Exactly. Everybody watches for about 15 minutes if you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, which is fine.
Well, we get a couple of people like Robert X and Doorknobhead who tend to leave it logged in through the whole thing. So they might not actually hear everything that goes on, but they stay on for the full time.
Mm-hmm.
I do that all the time, and I highly suggest this to everybody else. If you're checking out your friend's stream, just have it open in a window, and if you got to drop the sound, drop the sound. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I did that the other day when I popped up onto your stream.
Yes, I did see
I said something, and then I was like, okay, I got to mute this now.
And I've got playlists full of the, just the channels I follow. So, like, when I'm going out for a few hours, I leave the computer going.
Yep. And this is for content creators. One thing that's very cool that can get you hours watched if you're trying to get to that monetization.
Right.
Make playlists.
Yeah, it helps them get monetized, and it gives them a couple extra bucks if they're monetized, or a couple extra cents actually. But
well, if you do, what's it called? If you do, just have people just like play your video and then like walk out of the room or whatever. But if it's in a playlist, then it will play another one of your videos, another one of your videos, another one of your videos. So that you're getting just that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it always annoys me when people do episodic stuff and they don't make a playlist that goes from start to finish.
Yeah.
It's like, and I have to hunt and peck to find the other video.
Yeah. I just started doing that for my streaming shit. And my music's streaming as well. So if you guys want to go on down to The Deviants, it's some mediocre shit that I made not too long ago. And I think tomorrow's going to be a music day. I'm feeling very musical. That's my rule. I don't make shit if I don't feel it.
I know what you mean on that. I can't really do any writing if I'm just not in the right space for it.
And my personal life had me not in that space for quite some time. So now that I'm getting closer to being where I like to be, I can get back to doing what I like to do. Come here, puppy.
Yeah, Orla's ranting all about the Tory party now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know that much about the British politics, but
the podcast
I know Johnson is just, he plays the clown, but it doesn't really seem like that. It seems like he's got something planned that he doesn't want people to pay attention to.
I think he's just having a good time, which is equally as dangerous because then it can be manipulated by other people.
That could be.
I mean, that's why we got Chester Cheeto now. It's just it was a publicity stunt, and then he actually won, and now it's like, oh shit, what do we do? And this has been a back of the envelope, dirty napkin kind of. What do we do about all these things that really affect people's lives? Like, I'm really excited for everyone to be able to go to the doctor and get well. Like, that's important to me. Come here.
Yeah, well, I think the Republicans got Trump in because they figured he would be a clown, so nobody would pay attention to what they were doing in Congress.
Right.
But I don't think even they were prepared for just how bizarre it was going to get.
And all the tweets and all the fucking shit that they'd have to keep up.
Well, I think they thought he would just, sit in his office and color with his crayons and not bother anyone. I don't think they were prepared for him to be going out in public every day and them always having to do damage control.
Yeah, because it's a lot. It's a lot going on, and it seems like every week there's something crazy. At least one or two things that are like, what the hell? What country is this? But It is what it is. So that's why I'm leaving. And you guys can fucking keep the change. I'm out of here.
Yeah, if it had been an option, I would have moved to Canada by now. Since that hasn't been an option, I've been trying real hard to get people in Canada to get them to annex the upper Midwest.
just kind of, hey, America, you guys don't really want that anyway. We'll keep it. What do you want to play right now?
Well, the Upper Peninsula nobody wanted anyway.
They drew out the borders, and then America left it out, and Canada left it out. I was like, no, man, it's all yours. No. No.
Seriously, historically, this is the way it worked out. When Wisconsin became a state, they drew the border so that they didn't include the Upper Peninsula. They didn't want that part hanging out by Lake Superior. And Michigan lost the argument with Ohio, so that Toledo became part of Ohio. And to compensate Michigan for not getting Toledo, they said, well, there's this land up here that nobody's using. We'll make that part of Michigan.
Drew the short straw on that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to grab.
And I mean, you can look it up about how the borders were drawn. That is really how it happened. I'm not joking.
Oh. Apparently Lady Unicorn had her baby.
Oh! I didn't even realize she was due yet.
Congratulations.
Yeah, she was posting some things, and I was just kind of lurking her Twitter because we've been playing Minecraft together.
Okay.
And it was some unnerving things that were being said. I'm not gonna go into it too much, but
yeah.
So I was just creeping her Twitter to see if there was any updates. And her latest tweet was like, I swear somebody is out to destroy us IRL. And then somebody said, damn, you figured me out. And then she said, no, but seriously, I've had the craziest birth and all. He's not even a day old and already upending everything because of reports that don't make sense. So I'm just like, oh, don't know what that means, but... At least the baby's there.
Okay, well, yeah, at least she's doing okay then.
Yeah.
Right. Well, my girl is got to get up for work. So I'm hearing her alarm clock go off. So I got to go annoy her to make sure she's awake.
Okay, well, I should probably be closing down for the night here, so.
Yeah. Time for me to go to get back myself.
Anyone have anything coming up they want to plug?
Not till February.
I got a new channel I started for the podcast that I've been planning for 6 months, and it looks like we're trying to get a schedule actually down. So be on the lookout. Coming soon.
Okay.
Two dudes from America and 2 dudes from Europe. Okay,
well,
which is why
if you've got a channel link, feel free to drop it in the chat there.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. The scheduling is almost impossible.
Wait a minute. Why do you not have a wrench?
I don't know.
Okay, that's better.
I hear a dog.
It's my dog, and he won't stop.
Yeah.
Sounds like he wants attention.
He's trying to get into the bedroom that is closed to him.
Gotcha.
Okay.
There's the thing. Follow us on Twitter, and then you can get all the other updates soon. But yeah, I really want to get my buddy Wayne in the UK to talk to me about voting in the UK, because they don't even, their voting is kind of crazy. It makes no sense. They don't vote directly for their leader. They vote for the parties, and whoever's the leader of that party is now the prime minister.
Yeah.
It's all fucking backwards, crazy, loop-de-loop shit. And I wanted him to explain it. But wife, kids, 6.5 hour difference.
Well, that's something I vaguely thought at one point might be a way to do things. Is instead of it being like well, I mean that's basically how it is here anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah, we have electoral
you
college, so our
what,
shit doesn't really count anyway.
well, no, what I'm saying is like we basically do the same thing. The party votes, and then that person becomes the candidate for that party. They vote for their leader, and the leader becomes the candidate for the party. Basically, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how they become the leader of the party, though. I don't know if that's an elected thing or what.
No. It's just like the primaries, really have no regulation over them.
Right.
Because they're considered a party affair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I cannot find the fucking channel.
No, I think the only thing that's really been shown is that pretty much every country in the world has a broken system.
Sweden's pretty sweet.
Well, you can't. That's the thing. It's one of those weird things. It's like, okay, you could go straight democracy, but that's just mob rule. I think we should keep the electoral college, but it should be a percentage per state.
Oh, why?
So it should become percentage per state, not winner takes all. I mean, at least as a transition, instead of just saying let's get rid of the electoral college, we say, okay, we've got this set up right now, and right now winner takes all is stupid. What we should do is say, okay, if you're in Alaska and 25% of the candidates vote for one, 25% of the people vote for one candidate and 75% vote for the other, the candidate gets 75% of the electoral votes and the other candidate gets the other 25%.
Well, the biggest problem really with the Electoral College is that nobody even knows who most of the people voting are. So there's no way to hold anyone accountable for anything.
That just reeks of
they're supposed to be representing the people of their state, but the people of any given state don't know who is casting the electoral votes.
And they don't actually have to follow the vote.
That depends on the state. Some state constitutions say they do, some don't.
Yeah, I think it's happened like twice in the whole history of America that people haven't voted for what the general populace has voted for. So, but even still,
it would be pretty hard for the congressman to explain to them why their electors didn't vote the way the population of the state did. So that doesn't really happen.
I think mob rule is a very gross mischaracterization of 18 million people in one city think that this is the right way to go, and a bunch of farmers who have like literally 5 people per town have the same amount of say. Like, that's how is that justified? Like, how would they know what's best for people in communities that they don't live in?
Well, and see,
I mean, the reverse is
that's the problem. You could argue that for either side.
You could have that same argument for either side. Why do these city folk get to control what I do in the country? Why do those country folk get to control what I do in the city?
Because if you look at the statistics on it, the country folk are generally poorer, they're generally less educated, and they're generally less progressive in their thought processes about other people that aren't them. So I don't know that giving them a weighted vote helps anyone. It doesn't preserve anything. It just gives us Trumps.
Well, unfortunately, if you go and break things down, that was really how the last election went. It was a matter of, Clinton carried the big cities and Trump carried the rural areas.
And Hillary was so fucking... hubristic that I can't post a link because I'm in the wrong fucking thing. Oh, I'm in the wrong window. I'm on it. Hold on. She just assumed that the next presidency was hers, and that's how she acted, and that's how.
Well, the whole Democratic Party
Yeah, and
just went with the assumption that all the women would vote for Hillary.
right, and then they did. She didn't even caucus where she should have caucused. She didn't even like campaign fully. She just assumed that she was going to win because she's Hillary Clinton. Well, we saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
Beautifully. Now our stupidness is spreading to other continents.
Well, and unfortunately, there's still no indication that the Democrats learned anything from it.
Which is the worst part. Is it the fact that this might happen again?
Yeah. That if the Democrats can't, stop fighting them in themselves and realize that they have to actually put forth a candidate that's popular with the general public, which seems to be something they're averse to doing.
They refuse.
The candidates they're trying to push are not the candidates anybody wants to vote for. Does anybody want to vote for Biden? A lot of people will vote for him because they don't want Trump, but that is not going to be enough for him to win.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anyone who actually wants Biden because they believe he stands for what, is important to them?
There we go. Big old lag spike.
Yeah, I saw you jump there.
I was like, I'm clicking, but nothing's happening.
Yeah, well, my connection's been real bad tonight. They lost me for a while, but they managed to carry on.
There we go. It's usually about this time of night that I'll drop 3 or 4 times in an hour, and then I always just call it quits.
Yeah, for me, that'll start happening at the top of the next hour here. 3 o'clock local time. Then it's like that's when they do maintenance on the server or something, but then my connection gets real flaky.
And I have 1 gig internet. Like, I pay a decent amount for my internet service. Do that shit during the middle of the day. Like, if you want to do maintenance, fine, that's cool. You want to clean up your servers, that's fine. When I use my shit. I've been a loyal paying customer all this time. If you want your fucking money on time, I'm gonna need my fucking internet not drop out.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna need my internet not to drop out every time that I'm trying to host a stream or I'm doing a late night chat with the homies. Like, don't just turn my shit off and say, well, I'm just working on it. Well, that's when I work. I'm a streamer. So you need to keep it consistent at all times if you want my money in a consistent.
Yeah.
If you want cash, then I'm gonna need you to keep it going.
I get to be the first subscriber again.
Bum, 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 bum. Level up.
Actually, I have a lot of fun doing that with random people I see in the chats.
And that's me, just a rant. I'm just kidding.
No, but then it's like, if a year later any of these channels actually amount to anything, I can say I was one of their first 10 subscribers.
See? Back when I was a no.
By the odds, it's got to happen sooner or later.
I have plans and dreams of world domination, so stay tuned. Coming soon. Actually, I don't think I made this account literally this afternoon, so I should probably sub with all of my channels.
Okay. Well, good night, everybody. We're going to disconnect here. Ending broadcast.